Alright, hello everyone, it's Happy, and today I'm finally going to be making a review slash guide on the XM66F, and of course I managed to get this tank this way. I think you can see it on the screen. I basically had 5k gold left, and I was like, yeah, let me just open a few more boxes. So I opened 3 boxes, and I managed to get 2 snow globes out of 3 boxes. That is pretty much unreal. Out of 4,500 gold spent, I got 2 snow globes, and from there I was able to get this tank, which is really crazy, to be fair, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, moving apart from that, this tank is absolutely monstrous. Like, I mean it, this tank is very strong in a lot of its parameters. And to be specific, this tank is very good at one thing, and that is going hull down. Going hull down in this tank is very nice, because again, the turret armor is solid. The upper plate is also solid. The lower plate is a huge weakness. This is not going to be something like an Object 268 version 4 or an E3. I mean, this tank has a very big weak spot, which is the lower plate, and you are going to get penned if you are not going hull down. The other cool thing is that this tank has 3,562 DPM. You have 410 alpha, and the reload time is 6.9 seconds. Now, if you click on Adrenaline, you're going to be absolutely shredding a lot of tanks to bits. Now, is this DPM good? Yes, for sure, but some tanks like the Badger, for example, are going to just have much better DPM than you, because the Badger has 3.8k and a half. I mean, yeah, when I played the XM66F, I really thought that this tank had mega crazy DPM just because of the firing rate, right? Because the reload time was again 6.9 seconds. That is really crazy. But overall, if you look at the whole picture, you don't have that much DPM in comparison to, for example, something like a Badger. As I said, this thing does have a turret, which is very good. You can poke around corners much easily compared to a Badger, which doesn't have a turret, right? But to say that this tank is OP, in my opinion, would be incorrect. The tank has okayish mobility, 40 kilometers forward, with a pretty, good effective horsepower per ton. So in general, I feel like the mobility is okay. But I would never say that this is sort of a mobile or fast tank, right? Because that's really not the case. If a medium or light comes around and you're faced the other way, it's a GG for you. There's no way you're going to be able to really do anything, right? So in that regard, it still retains that tank destroyer weakness, which is, of course, the inability to properly counter mediums or lights if they come out unexpectedly. Now, apart from that, what other advantages does this tank have? I mean, the ability to go hull down, which means that the armor is good. The gun depression is also very good. As I said, 10 degrees of gun depression is good. So you get a very nice gun on top of that. You have some okayish aim time and good dispersion, right? But then again, if you look at the Badger, that tank is going to literally have a much better aim time than you, which really doesn't make sense because the Badger also has a bigger caliber compared to this tank. So to me, it's quite confusing, but the biggest negative of this tank is the fact that, your alpha is 410. I think that's probably one of the least, alpha favorable tanks at tier 10. I mean, a lot of heavies are going to have more alpha than you, which doesn't really make sense. So you don't have that much HP, and for you to sit there and trade with heavy tanks, for example, wouldn't necessarily make sense. And in that regard, the gameplay is a little bit tricky, I would say, because if you go and trade with a lot of heavies, then you are going to die much quicker because you have less alpha and less HP. So you have to keep that in mind. This tank is not about the peekaboo lifestyle, right? I used to complain that the Badger had low alpha. Well, this is even worse, guys. And so you really need to be careful in that regard. The aim time, as I said, is again not really one of the best, especially for the caliber, which is a big weakness as well and something I really dislike. So if you can overcome these 2 weaknesses, I feel like this tank can still be very strong. And to be fair, it is a very strong tank indeed. And if you do have it, congrats and enjoy this tank because it is capable of doing crazy stuff at times. So with that, Happy is out, and I'll definitely see you guys next time. Bye-bye.